everybody. I just wanted to take some time to make myself available and talk to you about what's going on in your world because I know there's a lot of stress and anxiety going on. I saw a very disappointing article yesterday that there were more suicides than deaths from coronavirus in Tennessee over the last week. So that kind of prompted me to say, you know what? Maybe it would be a good idea to try to make myself available for people who may not be ready to go to counseling or may not have a insurance coverage for counseling, may not be able to afford it, whatever your case may be. I'm here to take your questions, and I lost my little happy chat window. There it is. So I can see your questions. Let's see. How can I get that up here so I can see it? Wonderful. So I guess one of the things I will do is just kind of start talking and give you some tips and tools. I know a lot of people right now are stressed about finances. And, oops, I was doing that before. So let me open, hello, this. And if you go to any web browser, you can type in start out with coronavirus assistance, and then you can put in housing. And it will give you housing resources, information and resources. It can also give you, like this one is for low income relief. Now you want to be a little bit more cautious about URLs you don't recognize, like that one. You can also go to United Way 211. In order to search for resources that are available in your community, for example, to help with electricity or food or things like that. There are a lot of programs out there that are expanding their availability to people during this coronavirus crisis. So if you go to United Way, you can find help with emergency shelters if you're currently homeless, employment, financial assistance programs, low-income community health clinics if you're feeling ill. Now remember, a lot of places are availing themselves to people who think that they may have coronavirus for testing for low cost or for free. So that's important to recognize, and you want to find out where those areas are. A lot of insurance companies are waiving the copays and co-insurance for coronavirus testing. Now, I'm not sure if you can get it totally for free or not, but I think the thing that a lot of people are feeling most helpless about and hopeless about is the fact that there just doesn't seem to be any end in sight. So there are a couple other things I'm going to share with you. Whoops. The FDA this morning did provide an emergency authorization for the use of hydroxychloroquine, which is the malaria medication that it has been helpful in treating COVID-19. So now the FDA has said, okay, well, we're going to consider letting you guys use this. There has been a lot of research that has indicated that this is a very effective measure when you combine hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc, is what I've read in the different studies. So we can go to and I'm doing this and I'm pulling it up for you guys so you can see it. It's not just me coming up with pulling stuff out of my butt. They are providing information. a physician at Hackensack Meridian Health in New Jersey um, discussed the effectiveness of a variety of different treatments. Um,
My name is Shay,
ooh,
and I have a condition that I take.
and that is a really obnoxious commercial. Uh, but anyway, you can look and find that hydroxychloroquine, not the fish cleaner. Please do not take fish tank cleaner. That is not approved for human use. It has all kinds of adulterants in it. You want to take the actual medication that you've got to get from your doctor, in combination with the other vitamins and medications can help a lot of people. Is it going to be the magic bullet? Well, maybe not. But it is shown in several hundred people that it has been effective in the US, and it's been shown in France and Australia also to be effective. So that should give a little bit of hope that we are potentially coming close to a treatment. So our death rates hopefully will be able to go down. And that is just me being hopeful. That's not me having any news that anybody else doesn't have. And that's a good thing. And hopefully we will reach the top of this, or the peak of this crisis relatively quickly. I know yesterday I was so disheartened when the president said we were going to be doing it for another 30 days. But I'd rather be safe and do it all the way through than do it half-assed and have to do it again. So there are some effective treatments. They're also using a couple of different other treatments, one using plasma from people who have recovered from the virus, and another one using ritonavir or something. Drugs.com is a site that I've used before, and I found them to be very accurate in their reporting. So, I haven't seen this article until now, but they're talking about prevention and investigational treatments. They talk about self-isolation. They are looking at developing vaccines. Remdesivir is the one I was trying to think of earlier, is an antiviral drug that is being studied for use against the virus. Chloroquine phosphate and hydroxychloroquine are being used, hydroxychloroquine sulfate. Hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin have also been shown to be somewhat effective. Unfortunately, publication dates tend to fall way behind. Anyway, you may not be nearly as interested in all of the data. I'm curious as to what you are struggling with right now. What is causing your anxiety? What is causing your depression? Another thing that's causing a lot of stress, anxiety, angst for a lot of people is just being on quarantine. And yes, we can go outside, we can get sunlight, we can exercise. A lot of us can work from home. And that's wonderful. But a lot of people are spending a lot of time in close quarters with their family, with their roommates, with other people that they normally don't have to spend quite that much time with. And not only are we spending more time with these people that we dearly love, but, some of us need our space, but we're also under stress right now. We're under stress because of the virus. We're under stress because of the economy. We're under stress for a lot of reasons, which makes it more difficult to be patient and tolerant and all of that wonderful stuff. So it's important to think about, what is it that is causing me to feel irritable today? What is it that's causing me to feel helpless and hopeless? And how can I deal with that? Because Other people around us may be irritable. And if you are the, head of household, for whatever you want to call it, you may be able to encourage people to look at their behaviors and to do things that will help make them happy and to focus on the positives and not get stuck talking about perseverating on the negatives or spending hours and hours and hours researching stuff where there's really no answers right now. What we need to do is focus on what we do know. And we do know that the majority of people who get it have, may have symptoms, but they tend to recover quickly. There is an expectation that there are a lot of people whose symptoms are so mild that they don't even seek treatment for it. And I read one story, and, don't quote me, I'm not a medical doctor, but I did read one story that indicated that when we are, once you have the coronavirus, you're immune to it. So you're not going to get it again. Now, could you potentially get a mutated form of it? Maybe, I don't know. But what's important to recognize is that a lot more people are getting it and recovering from it. There are some people who are unfortunately succumbing to the illness, and that is heartbreaking. This temporary crisis where our lives are just completely upended can feel like it's going on forever. And it's important for us to really recognize how long it's been going on. But let's get creative. Let's embrace it. Let's say, okay, we've got 30 more days. What can you do in 30 days of quarantine? What could you do since you're not able to go to the movies? You're not able to do things outside of the house. What could you do in these 30 days around your house that, maybe you wouldn't normally have time to do? I've started on my spring cleaning, and I always plant a garden every year. So I've started planting my garden and doing things like that make you happy. Maybe you want to take up a new hobby, learn to crochet, learn to paint, start to draw, read a book. There are thousands and thousands of books that you can check out online and read on your Kindle or on your desktop or on your tablet. And that can help you pass some of the time. If you're worried about your loved ones, I know my in-laws are older and I'm, worried about them. And, my husband's grandparents are still alive. I'm worried about them, especially because his grandfather has diabetes and his grandmother is in somewhat ill health. So I worry that they are going to come into contact with someone and somehow contract the virus. However, worrying about it doesn't do any good. I cannot change their behaviors. If they choose to go out, then they are grown-ups. And, all I can do is pray. But worrying about it and using a whole lot of energy being concerned isn't going to do any good. Reaching out, making sure they know the protocols, checking in on them, making sure that they know ways that they can get their basic needs met without having to leave the house, such as home grocery delivery and those sorts of things. Those are all things that I can do to use my energy to allay that worry. Now, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to employment, when it comes to finances, here in the US at least, a lot of people are able to access financial relief. Credit card companies, a lot of them, if you call them, they will work with you. Your mortgage or your rental company, they are often working with people. There are programs in place. We're going to supposedly be getting some money back from the federal government to help us keep up on our electric payments and those sorts of things. Making sure that you know what resources are available to you. Many businesses will bounce back after this, and it's important to be realistic about what's really going to happen and what your short-term versus your long-term issues are. In the short term, you may not have a job, But in the long term, as businesses ramp back up, a lot of people are going to be able to get employed again. Maybe not where you were, if your business unfortunately has to close, but there are a lot of businesses that are growing and expanding, and a lot of businesses that will come back, very quickly after everything returns to normal. Okay, my hope is to do a live broadcast every day, every weekday, until this crisis is over. I'm not guaranteeing that, life may happen, but my hope is to do that probably about this time every day. So please subscribe down below and you will be notified when I am getting ready to go live, so you can tune in, you can ask questions. Today I just kind of went off the cuff because I didn't have, many people participating. But I would really like to know, what is it that is most concerning to you now? And what is it that I can do to help you cope with this stressful situation?